მოგესალმებით. მე ვარ თიანთინ ბოლოკაძე, გირჩი თავისუფლების საერთაშორისო ურთიერთობის ოფიცერი და დღეს გვაქვს სტუმარი ლიბერლანდიდან ვიტი, ლიბერლანდის პრეზიდენტი და ასევე სამუელა საერთაშორისო ურთიერთობის ოფიცერი. ჩვენ ერთი კვირის წინ დავდეთ ლიბერლენდთან მანიფესტი და ამის შესახებაც გვინდა რომ დღეს ვისაუბროთ და ცოტა რამ მოვისმენთ ლიბერლენდზე. თქვენ ინტერვიუ იქნება ინგლისურად, თუმცა ვეცდები რომ მეც გადმოგითარგმნოთ და გითხრათ მოკლედ ლიბერლენდის შესახებ. ლიბერლენდი არის კუნძული, რომელიც არის არაღიარებული რესპუბლიკა, თავისუფალი რესპუბლიკა, ასე ეძახიან საკუთარ თავს და ეს მდებარეობს სამხრეთ-აღმოსავლეთ ევროპაში, სერბიას და ხორვატიის საზღვარზე. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for coming. Hopefully we'll have a great interview and I hope that you enjoyed your stay here in Tbilisi, as I know that you are leaving tomorrow. So thank you for making time for us.
Amazing time here in Georgia, amazing people, amazing culture, amazing infrastructure and architecture. I'm really surprised, how developed the country is and how sovereign and proud it is at the same time.
Great. So can you tell us and our viewers and supporters more about Liberland, like shortly the brief history of how it was created and what was your motivation to do this?
For many years I was looking into changing the political landscape in Czech Republic. And at some point I was suggesting that Liberland or the Czech Republic should be a little bit more like Switzerland. And somebody told me that there is not enough Swiss people in Czech Republic, and that was a fair point. That there is not enough will to cut the taxes and cut the regulations. And I tried quite hard to educate people about it, but at some point I was just thinking maybe it might be easier to start a new country than to fix an existing one. So we start looking for territories which could be built up from zero, and we found this beautiful place on the Danube River, which was not claimed by any sovereign country for many years, and that there was nobody living there. So it was a very precious piece of land that nobody noticed. And in 2015 we went there and stick the flag and declared the creation of a freest and most deregulated country.
And as I know, Liberland is not recognized by any official states around the world. So how do you see the future of Liberland? What are your plans regarding this case?
There is quite a few recognitions already happening around the world. We signed a memorandum of understanding with Haiti. We got recognized by the parliament in Dominican Republic. I just came from the leadership of Republican Party. Literally met everybody important that matters in the US politics. We are heading for a conference in India, which is co-organized by the foreign ministry. So we have a I would say, very great case for recognition of Liberland, and we have already proven that Liberland is recognizable entity, even during the time when nobody was living in Liberland, which was very difficult diplomatically, but we managed to do that. And now, when there are people living 2 months already in the Liberland territory, our case is much easier. We've got much more open doors everywhere because we follow all the Montevideo criteria for statehood.
And Samuela is one of the people who works internationally with other states around the world, yes? And what are your what is your specialization in work of Liberland, and how do you promote the Republic of Liberland?
Thank you so much for your questions. I became the representative of Liberland to Georgia in July 2022, last year. And I'm one of more than 80 representatives around the world. So we have representative of Liberland in almost every of the country. So when people anywhere where they are, they want to connect and talk about Liberland, or they want to organize a meetup or participate, so they are free to do so. They can find their closest representative on our website. And I saw that there's no representative to Georgia, and despite I'm a foreigner myself, so I'm humbled and grateful that I could become the representative to this beautiful country. My motivation was that I believe that both Liberland and Georgia share the same value of freedom. And so I wanted to represent it here and to connect with other like-minded people here and see what we can do here. My primary motivation at first was to just share the awareness And of course, I'm happy that the VIT finally came to the country. That's to me, I feel like a little child, you know, finally getting the gift of having the highest person, the president, coming to the country. So that's amazing success. And despite such a light notice, I'm happy that we managed to at least initiate the interview here. We have quite a few supporters here. In the year and a half of being here, I organized some 20 public meetups. I had some 20, maybe even more private connections, private meetings with some investors here, with some business people in blockchain, because like more pro-freedom people, libertarians, and so on. And we saw like how we could cooperate. I was invited to many conferences here and to spread the awareness here and to see how Liberland could potentially help. We also started in last autumn, a year ago, we started a podcast, Liberland in Georgia. It was a great opportunity by Franklin Club. They offered us to start a podcast here. And I made interviews with some 10 entrepreneurs here. And also one of the people was the investor from abroad, and it actually really gained a lot of trust to Georgia as a country, because when I talk about Georgia on the west, so people are a bit confused, they don't know about what to expect. And so I'm happy that even it doesn't really have such a high reach, but it already got a great investment opportunities to here, and it gained more trust to Georgia. And I'm happy that people really seriously are willing to relocate themselves or their companies, or want to bring in money, buy real estate here, and so on. So I hope to continue with this.
Great. And as I know, you guys have like all figured out with cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. So tell me more about that. Like how do you take cryptocurrency and blockchain technology into governing the country? Because it's very interesting, and I would love to see my country like that one day, to have everything figured out technologically and not just with papers.
We just finished the whole project. It took us last 2 years to program it, and before that we were looking for the best technologies and the best systems of governance. So I think we really took the best elements of Swiss democracy and Republic from US, and a little bit of House of Lords from United Kingdom, a little bit of meritocracy from Singapore. We will compact that into nice political system that is all pre-programmed on blockchain. So all the things that are happening inside of the country are completely transparent. They're part of this single blockchain platform that manages everything from elections to budgeting to monetary policy to basically registries as well as the court system. Anything that you can think of has been basically already built. Well, not anything, because Liberland is only focusing on security, justice, and diplomacy. We leave the rest to the private sector. But all these things that are crucial to have the infrastructure, IT infrastructure, were packed into one blockchain platform, which basically any citizen can run. And now, as of today, 20 citizens have the computer or server, and they're running the infrastructure. And each one of these servers is self-sustaining. All these processes are happening there, so even if somebody attacks 19 of these servers, there is still one running properly, it will still work. So our IT infrastructure of the state is completely decentralized, and our constitution and all our processes were already compacted into this blockchain platform.
And you mentioned that you stand on three main topics: diplomacy, justice, and security.
Yes.
Can you please tell me more about justice? Like, how do people are involved in this system in Liberland?
It's my favorite topic. Thank you for asking. Actually, it was the last missing element that basically on the conceptual stage just became finalized, and the programmers have one more month sprint to finish this implementation on the blockchain. So we have taken some of the best ideas from international arbitration and turned that into this automated, decentralized system. And we have a very simple system. If you're paying taxes in Liberland, you become shareholder, you get merits. But if you harm the country in some way, direct economical way, or you harm somebody else in the ecosystem, you lose these merits. So these shares are basically your reputation, your accountability in the whole ecosystem. And that's funny because our execution of justice is very quick in Liberland. On the other hand, it's very important for us that these courts are working as good as they can in assessing, for example, the damage that really people created to each other. If somebody steals 20,000 euro, for example, it's easy to calculate. Basically, that equals to now 10,000 merits, something like that. So that's a direct damage, for example, to the state budget. But if somebody hurts somebody, it's a little bit more difficult to calculate. That's why we have devised this system of courts and councils of courts that are also fully automated. So when you have a court case and you want to sue somebody, you go to this e-shop where you select your judge, you can see the conditions and his reputation, and you sue somebody. And if you guys agree on one judge, you have just one judge. If he doesn't respect that judge, he chooses another judge, and these two judges then select the third judge, and then they basically create like a triumvirate of judges, which decides the court case. And if
so it's decentralized also.
It's also decentralized, and anybody can apply for this. I'm very excited that one of the very highly respected judges from Georgia also likes the system, and he's basically kind of retired already, and he said he wants to take part in this. So there might be also one of the initial constitutional judges might be from Georgia, which I'm very excited about.
That's cool. We need honest judges here too, because we lack the independency of the justice system. I love that. I didn't know that three parts of Liberland that you work on, and I loved it very much. And like actually what you are saying about paying taxes, and you pay taxes and that's how you get merit based, what it's called, points.
Yeah, basically.
That's how we run our party. Whoever supports us and pays for us every month, they are the ones who decide who will be in the parliament. And that's cool because we have done it here in Georgia.
I love that, but what we could do, provide you a decentralized platform for running this, so it's completely trustless and running as a system. So, I mean, we have had this same system, but we haven't really used it for decision making. We have been very kind of centralized until now, but we're directly going to put this on blockchain and have full transparency, and that will give a lot of legitimacy to Liberland because the first fully, properly elected Congress will take place. And I think it's also a time when, when it's a good idea to go to exchanges, because all these tokens will have a substantial value built by this whole ecosystem that we have created. Not just the land, not just the fact that there is 700,000 people that want to apply for citizenship, but literally that we are holding the key to first kind of ideal government, which might bring us, I hope, a lot of new citizens.
That's cool. And you just mentioned that for the last 2 months, there are people living in Liberland.
Yes.
Tell me more about that. Like, what was the process before people lived there, and what is happening there right now?
It was a lot of fun. It was 8 years of different adventures, mostly with Croatian border police that was ordered not to let us go inside of Liberland. So, no, well, we had a lot of different fun, and I think the most popular video now has 9 million views. From spring this year, Niko Omilana just decided he will stick the flag in the middle of the Liberty Island.
Wow.
And police tried very hard to stop him from going there and sticking the flag, because they're protecting it on behalf of Serbia, right?
Oh, I think you showed me this.
That's the fun part about Liberland, but again, there is nobody living there. Croatia doesn't claim it. It's a pristine piece of land where Serbia already said they don't mind creation of Liberland on this territory. So what basically Croatia did over these years, they bought us time to organize ourselves to the statehood level to basically finish this blockchain governance, and we have to be grateful to them because they were protecting our borders for free for more than 8 years. And now when we have grown to the level where we are already basically nascent state with all what it entails, they have let go, and that's very nice. So they have opened unilaterally the borders with Liberland. If you're coming to Liberland, they will check your papers on the way in, and they will check your papers on the way out. They have de facto created border without recognizing the country yet fully, but it was extremely friendly step towards our nation on our way to full sovereignty.
Thank you. so much. Samuela, please tell me about the citizenship of Liberland, because I just saw your passport and I was very excited to see your citizenship. So can you tell me about the process, the whole process, how you can get the citizenship, and then how you get the passport, and what is going on there?
Okay, Vit, feel free to interfere to me, but I became the citizen. You can become the citizen if you sort of contribute to the country on a certain level. It's the same with, like, why should you, when we were talking about Liberland marriage, so why should you decide on the country future if you do not contribute to the country, right? And so also, why should you become a citizen of the country if you do not contribute to the country? And so some people contribute financially to get 5,000 merits to claim also the citizenship and to ask for the passport, or they can contribute more if they want to. Of course, they're free to do so. And I contributed with my efforts on more like representative level. Mm-hmm. So as I mentioned already, I initiated a lot of meetings, I initiated a lot of great connections and shared awareness of Liberland, and I'm happy that I asked one day Vit if I may get a citizenship finally, and he agreed. So,
but if we had somebody like Samuela in every country around the world, Liberland would be already globally recognized.
He says that I'm hyperactive. So yeah, like either you can be hyperactive and get Liberland citizenship.
So that's how you get liberal citizenship.
But the process is pretty simple. Like actually anyone who can join our community, we have more than 730,000 people registered on our website, liberland.org. And even more people know about the country, know about what we do. So these are just really people who went and actually registered on the website. And then you activate your account and you go through a pretty simple KYC, like you fill out your information. Sadly, you cannot be a communist if you want to join Liberland, am I right? Like, we have certain conditions, like, yeah, you go through the KYC and then you choose the way how you want to contribute, and you can even ask for a residency card. So actually here in Georgia, we have quite more and more residents here. There are more people who are interested into become at least the e-resident. So that costs like $150. To get the e-residency card, we deliver it to you here, so that's not a problem. And it's pretty straightforward. Like I don't know what else to add. We have
Now let me just add the fact that it's very easy to become citizen now by coming to Liberland for 25 days.
Oh.
That's very important. That's the fastest track that you can do without any money. You just come and live in Liberland and help the development of the country physically. So it's probably, and it's kind of exciting. And we still have, for at least for next month, we have a great weather. It was 26 degrees today in Liberland, and the beaches are very long these days because the Danube is low, so it's more like a paradise area right now.
I'd love to come.
So it will be a lot of fun, you know, and we're actually turning whole Liberland for the winter into big sauna spa city.
Wow.
So that will be a lot of fun. Anyway, you know,
lots of fun libertarians.
Yeah. That's what I like about it. You know, it's not just like theory anymore, but it's like practical things. And you know, a lot of fun also with the boats. We are bringing more nicer boats to Liberland, so people can start marrying there.
Wow.
Birthday parties, you know, any type of other social events. We already have the infrastructure for it, and there is a boat that goes from Mohacs, which is this famous city for this fight with the Turks many centuries ago, and then the boat goes down to Liberland. From Liberland it goes to Vukovar. Vukovar is a Croatian city, big city, and from Vukovar it goes to Apatin, where we already have a resort, so people can party there, and then goes back to Mohacs, and then to Liberland. So there is also there is a nice infrastructure for people to visit and enjoy Liberland these days.
I would actually add that since opening the borders with Croatia in August, so Vit was celebrating his 40th birthday there. It was a pretty short notice, but actually some 300 people from all around the world came to the island. There was a big boat party, and it was actually happening in 3 countries at once.
It was great. It was a big party in Croatia, in Liberland, and in Serbia at the same time.
Everyone celebrated their birthday. Okay, Samuel. Now to go back to Girchi More Freedom and Liberland, we signed. Actually, we have this right here.
Okay.
We signed this manifesto last week, and can you tell me what this partnership is based on, and why are we so similar to each other, and what kind of opportunities do we have to learn from each other and to help each other?
Well, I think that we will more like even see it as we go. But we signed a memorandum of understanding between me and you. We already are in touch for more than a year, so I'm happy that we got it happen. I think that what Liberland can bring is more awareness to your values, but also to Georgia as a country. And I love what you do here, and how you promote your values and libertarian perspective. To especially you focus, to my understanding, you focus more on the youth here. And you do some great camps and so on. I would love to contribute. I would love to give a presentation on either Liberland, but even like libertarian values, or how people can broaden their freedom. What are their opportunities? So we're totally happy to do this. If there will be opportunity to continue with the podcast, so we will be happy to do so, because I was very lucky with the network here in Georgia, and so it really helps the country. It's like a real thing. So I'm happy that it brings in more money, and we will see, I think, more if you will share along the way also what are some other needs of Georgia or of Girchi More Freedom especially. So we will be happy to help. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I want to finish this interview with you asking, what do you think about current situation in Georgia regarding politics? And what do you think that it's happening in this landscape, and what do you think Georgia will be in next 5-10 years? You know that we're now we're waiting for EU candidate status. We don't know if it's gonna happen, because our government has been clearly pro-Russian, and Russian propaganda works in Georgia very well, especially in the generation of elderly. That's why we work with youth, because youth are people who are more libertarian, more free and more libertarian, but elderly, they're stuck in communist minds. So what do you think is the future of Georgia?
Well, normally I don't comment on the political situation, but you know, let me just remind you of this nice book 1984, which kind of is always about pushing you to be part of Oceania or this or that political bloc. I think the best way for countries to go forward is focus on freedom and be sovereign. And this is, I think, something that is my advice, you know. But again, normally I don't give it. But I stepped out of my traditional diplomatic position. But I know I know it works best, you know, if you really rely on yourself, because power corrupts. And power corrupts ultimately, and the idea that somebody that is 8,000 kilometers, or I don't know, 5,000 kilometers away can govern you better than yourself is simply flawed. Yeah. And people should start think about it in this way. And I know it's very easy to fall for this. You have to be either with the red ones or with the blue ones. But what if you just simply go for your own thing? And I think Georgia has already proven it multiple times that this is a very prosperous, able to stand on its own heels country. So why just don't follow that path?
Yeah, I also I think it's very well also described on the Sovereign Individual book. And it shows some great examples of other smaller nation states around the world. And you can see like Switzerland, you can see Monaco. But to me, this is like how I perceive Georgia. Since I came here 3 years ago, I think it's a country with a great potential. It incredibly evolved even in the past years. I know from some people it evolved a lot in the past, 20 years. It has a great potential. Oh, Singapore is another, like also small nation-state country, right? And I also believe in a great potential in sovereignty of Georgia, while keeping broadening its diplomatic relations. I think you have a great potential to do it. You're a very open-minded nation. You're very global, like people think globally. Young people speak 3 languages, oftentimes even more by default. that's very unusual. You have a really great potential, and I wish you to, maximize it, use it at your maximum as you can.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We finished like on a good note, I think, on a positive note. Thank you so much for visiting. I hope that our relations and cooperation will be deeper and deeper as we continue working on our libertarianism in our country and in Liberland also. I would love to have a citizenship one day, so
Love to have you as a citizen.
thank you so
Use it
much.
with the right person here.
Thank you so much. Madloba, მოსმენისთვის. იმედია საინტერესო გამოვიდა. დიდი სიამოვნებით დავწერა ასევე Liberlandზე ამ ინტერვიუს შემდეგ, იმიტომ რომ ძალიან საინტერესო რაღაცები მოვისმინეთ ვიტისგან, რომელიც არის 2015 წელს მან შექმნა Liberlanდის თავისუფალი რესპუბლიკა და უკვე 2 თვეა, რაც რესპუბლიკაში დასახლდა ხალხი და ასე აგურ-აგურ აშენებენ ქვეყანას და იმედია რომ უფრო მეც გავიგებთ ამის შესახებ მომდევნო წლებში. და გირჩი თავისუფლებას აგრძელებს თანამშრომლობას Liberlandთან და იმედი ახალი სიახლეებით დაგიბრუნდებით. მადლობა ყურადღებისთვის.